Hello YouTube, welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. My name is Ben, and I'm up here on our off-grid property in the mountains of Virginia. In this video, we're going to show our first vegetable garden here on the homestead. We did plant some berry plants around this time last year, and that's only because they didn't seem to require irrigation. I planted them down near our natural seep, which is like a spring that floods water up into the grass. But for the next couple trips, we're going to work on some raised beds. So I hope you enjoy this video, and let us know down in the comments if you have any questions or concerns about our design. So stay tuned. To start this project, we're going to peel back the silage tarp that's been here for about a year now, successfully killing off any weeds or grasses that we would need to deal with when planting crops. This is a bit tricky because I've been staging a lot of materials here. Thankfully, the solar panels are a bit farther to the right of the screen than we actually need, so we don't have to move the solar panels at this time. But I still need to do a quick raking just to get all the dead plants away. And I'm doing this just to check for rodents and any other hazards that could potentially impact our crops. Now we're tapping into the material pile I have just to the left of the screen that you saw me unload earlier. We're using these castle-looking type pieces that were recently on sale at Lowe's. They do have a hole that goes down the middle to pound in a piece of rebar if you wanted to do several layers high for your garden beds. But what these are designed for is to act as a corner brace for 2x6 material. When I say 2x6 material, I mean that they're designed specifically for 5.5 inch by 1.5 inch thick boards. That's what a 2x6 is at any store. And I bought pressure treated material. Even though this isn't rated for ground contact, I figured it'll still hold up better than just regular white wood that I'd be using for framing. And I bought 4 8-foot pieces, that's the length of the beds, and then I bought one 12-foot piece that'll be cut into quarters, so 3 feet each. That would make each of these beds 3 feet wide by 8 foot long. And while this may not seem like much compared to some of the other gardens we've built in previous YouTube videos, this should meet our needs at least for this summer. And you'll get to see in a couple minutes why I say that. We're actually building vertically instead of horizontally. That way we'll still have time to figure out the layout of our permanent garden. We'll still have time to amend the soil, potentially do some tilling and some landscaping in this tarped area. And since these blocks are modular, we could potentially move these raised beds in the future. So we're really not locked into this design. But like I said, it should get the job done for this growing season. The next step for these raised beds is hugelkultur. We've done a short video about this several years ago on YouTube, but in case you're not aware, putting decomposing logs and sticks in the bottom of your garden beds acts as a way to provide compost long-term, but it also sequesters water. And since we don't have irrigation hooked up, keeping that water in the beds is very important for our seedling. We collected a bunch of dead leaves from last winter's shedding to put into the garden bed above the hugelkultur sticks, but below our raised bed soil. This will act as another method to keep water in the soil, and it's also going to break down a lot quicker than those logs and turn into fresh compost. Behind me is the site of our new garden. The silage tarp is blowing all over the place and it's ripped up. I don't know what to do about that. But at least for the part that we rolled back, we're starting our raised bed garden with this trellis tunnel. That way we can grow creeping vegetables such as tomatoes, cucumbers, maybe some squash. And we don't actually need to process as much land because it can grow vertically. Anyway, even though we have the water source for the camper nearby and the hose going around over here, I'd like to have a dedicated water source for the garden. So when I had the trencher, I buried this PEX and this electrical line. The electrical line's concealed by that towel right now, and the PEX line is concealed by some scraps of pipe. It's important to keep that stuff out of the sun because the sun has UV rays that will damage the materials. What I need to do is extend the trench just a couple more feet to bring it in to the tarped area. That way, if we build a fence along this grass edge, the water source will be in the corner. I have a frost-free hydrant that needs to be dug 2 feet underground, and then I have some drainage gravel here to go into the bottom of the hole. So once I get the trench to where it needs to be, I need to dig a pretty deep hole suitable for installing the frost-free hydrant. So I'm gonna start working on that right now. I'm here with Angie and our son Cedar and our dog Maria. We're gonna be up here for a couple days. Who knows what kind of tasks we're gonna get completed, but one of the tasks on our agenda is to complete the other side of the garden beds. That is the second garden bed. It's been a couple weeks since we completed the first one. There's already some seedlings there. While Angie works on that, I'm gonna try to put together this concrete mixer. It's been sitting out for a while and the cardboard is starting to deteriorate. So I need to just get it assembled and then we'll see where we go from there. One long overdue task involving our solar shed is getting rid of all of these scraps of drywall from when I was securing the drywall to the studs. A lot of these are cutouts from the windows, they're remnants from when I was cutting pieces for the ceiling. There's even a couple full sheets here. So we want to get all of this out, and you'll see that we're going to use it as mulch in the garden. Angie tells me that the gypsum that this board is made out of is actually a good mineral nutrient for the garden, and the paper is going to decompose as it gets wet over time. Planning to cover that with cardboard so that white powder and paper doesn't get all over our boots. But I'm using my Tetris skills here to put these around the garden beds with full coverage so no weeds come up and compete with our crops. We have a lot of experience using cardboard as a base layer for our walkways and mulched areas in the garden. In the Raleigh area, we had a good supplier of kind of more industrial sized cardboard pieces that we would load up the truck with. Here we're just using empty boxes from toilets and other construction materials. Then we're going around with some rocks just to weigh these down because there's so much wind up on our mountaintop.
I insisted on taking the reins in the garden this year, then worked so hard developing the infrastructure for the homestead, so I wanted to take this off this plate. Also, I really want to spend more time up here this summer, so having a project like this will be good motivation. The day we built the 2 raised beds, my parents visited the land. They are a big help. My mom entertained Cedar and my dad got the red truck running. So with some freedom and materials, Ben and I were able to build these 2 beds in record time. In the first bed, I wanted to plant quick-growing seeds that tolerate cooler temperatures. So I planted spinach, butter bib lettuce, broccolini, kale, and peas. We did 2 types of peas, snap peas and shelling peas. I watered them in good and hoped for the best. I also planted some dillweed starts on that visit. About 2 weeks later, I made it back to the homestead. I was able to thin out the seedlings in the first bed and plant more and different seeds in the second bed. I planted zucchini, dino melon, pickle, and cucumber seeds, and a few cherry tomato plant starts. I got some heirloom cherry tomatoes from the farmer's market. They are Amy's apricot. I've never grown these before. The description looks great, and since they are heirloom, I'll be able to save the seeds for next year. Dino melon is another new to me variety. I got these seeds at another farmer's market. I hope to grow some more plants in the area that we had tarped off and pulled back. Some more crops we want to get in the ground this year are a couple varieties of pumpkin, some beautiful flowers, and a sweet corn that will be ready early, as well as a Kind Heart Homestead favorite, okra. We love okra. I'm so excited that we got our garden started and growing food again. We plan to expand this way beyond, but it's just a start, so keep watching, subscribe if you want to keep up with our garden. Thanks for watching.